welcome to Sweet Ears. I'm your host, Nozugo. So happy to have you guys here. We appreciate all the likes, all the subscriptions, all the shares. We appreciate everything. Thank you for being our little tribe and our family, and it's growing every single day. So excited to also have a moment to just bask in God's presence, so uniquely so, to be able to worship the Lord in remembering his deeds, or worship God in recalling the great works of his hand, just seeing his hand in our lives, just seeing God move so mightily. Without wasting your time, let's begin. Today we have, like I always say, an incredible guest. We have an incredible guest. So how I got to know him was that I actually went to his church one time, and he was actually sharing, I think he was taking the offering. Yes, he was taking the offering, and he shared a testimony while doing the offering. I was like, what? I need you on Sweet Ears. And you know what? I reached out, and yes, we have him here. Beautiful, beautiful testimony as usual. And yeah, hello.
Hello.
He's gonna introduce himself. Can we have your name?
My name is Motsi Matlakala. I was born in the Limpopo province, the village called Hopaneng. Our main town is Begesford. And that's the area I grew up. I went to school there, primary and also the secondary. But after passing my matric, that's when I came to Johannesburg to do my studies, to enroll my first qualification, which was National Diploma in Mechanical Engineering at the University of Johannesburg. That was in 2008. And I've started there as an extended student, and meaning that I wasn't qualifying for the mainstream, but because of grace of the Lord, they were able to take me for extended. And that's where my journey began.
Before you give us your journey, let's go back.
Okay.
So how did you find school? How were you in school? Were you a brilliant child that just does well? How was your upbringing in terms of, academically?
Well, when I was, I remember when I was doing Standard 1, which was, now it's a grade 7.
Standard 1?
Not grade 7, it's grade 3. Yes.
I'm from the same age. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I really struggled.
Really?
I was struggling a lot. I even repeated that Standard 1. And when I repeated it, that's where my mind was a little bit clear in terms of how things need to be then. But going further into secondary, I chose the stream of math and science because I wanted to be an engineer. But I was struggling with math. Like it was really challenging. Fortunately enough, I had my cousin who was good, and then she helped me. And then since then, I was all up, and I was the best student with math in my class. And since then, I was the one who was teaching the guys that I was attending with from
This is
grade
now
10.
in high school?
Yes, from grade 10, grade 11, also in grade 12. And it was really an amazing journey.
The student became the teacher.
Yes. And then when I was at that space, in my family, they used to call me principal. They even gave me the nickname of my principal then, to call me that Makotanyan. The same name of that principal was Makotanyan. So, but then I didn't know what was this all about, because I just loved education. I just loved helping people. I just loved giving back to other people. That was me when I was growing up until I came to Johannesburg.
Oh, wow. So you were having issues in almost you had a problem, like you were not doing so well in every subject.
No.
You were just doing well in...
Yeah, but after I got to understand mathematics and physics, that's when now I was much better
and comfortable.
Comfortable. I also struggled with English because the basics of English, when you are from rural areas, places whereby you don't talk English often, so it was really a struggle. I always say that I was taught English in my home language, which is Sepedi. So you can imagine Sepedi and English. So it was really challenging, but I pulled it through until I passed my matric.
How did your English, but you just basically teaching in Sepedi also, so you're also carrying on.
Numbers and English, they are not the same. So numbers, when you talk numbers, the English is not matters as such. Even someone who's speaking a fluent English, but the fact that you're talking about numbers, the person is easy for them to understand because it's just numbers. When you say 2 is 2, there is no any other explanation around it.
I totally get you. I like that though. I actually used to always comment to my sister to say, if I was taught generally in school in Zulu, I would have done better. Because we grow up at home, we are speaking our home language. We get to school, we are hearing everything is in English, everything is just so different. Even our comprehension of certain things are just not the same. So I totally get you. Okay, that's awesome. So then what made you actually want to pursue, be an engineer? Was there anyone you saw?
No, the reason being was that when I was growing up in primary and secondary, I was very good with making those small cars with wire and metal sheets. I was very good, and it came to the point whereby I was even at some point to say, why not do more of this thing and sell them? Because I was quite very good, and I asked someone to say, but if I want to go with this further, what should I do? They said, no, you should study. Someone said mechanic, and then the other one was like mechanical engineering, and I was interested in the mechanical engineering, and then from there I started doing my own research, and I realized that no, mechanical, they are not actually doing fixing the cars and whatnot, but they are designing them, they are making them, and which I was good with making those small cars. That's when I was interested, not with the fixing part for the mechanic, but the one for the design, the manufacturing process, around it. That's when I was interested in mechanical engineering.
I like that. I don't know, for some odd reason, I have quite a few engineers around me, like in my space, and most of them have the same story. They did something when they were young. They explored, they played around, and it just led them into the field.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So then you come to Joburg.
Yes.
How was that shift?
Well, it was not that easy. I was young then. And I remember, because I was from a rural area, I didn't know about this thing of applying.
Oh, wow.
I didn't apply anywhere. I just came to Gauteng with my result. I came with my brother because I was already here in Gauteng. I stayed with him. Then there was still this thing of doing a late application whereby you can just walk in the university. Unlike now, there is no walk-in. It's either you apply or there is nothing like that. But then when I got here, Yeah, that's when he introduced me to the University of Johannesburg. And I was like to myself that this is the university I've seen online and I've always wanted here. By the way, then my brother also studied at the same university. And he inspired me a lot to say, no, it's a good university. You can go do your mechanical engineering there. And then I went with my results. When I got there, they were like, no, you don't qualify.
Why?
You don't meet my results were good, but then as compared to other students were not that good as such. And even when I was checking what we call on the prospectus, the requirements, I wasn't really meeting the requirement as such, especially for the mainstream. And I remember at the admin side of the university, some other time, the other lady was like to me, just check on the prospectus, what is it that you qualify, then maybe you can apply for some other course. And I looked at it and I saw HR. I didn't know what is HR. Yeah, then I'm like, no, but let me do the HR thing and see how things are gonna go.
I remember in those years, if it wasn't HR, it was logistics. If it wasn't logistics, it was PR.
Yes, those quasi. And my brother, fortunately, on that day, came to the university. He called me. I'm like, no, my brother, I'm here. I'm trying to apply for this other course. It's like, what is it? I'm like, hey, it's HR. It seems to be powerful. Let me try it. And he came, he took the application form, he turned it off. And it's like, no, you can't do HR. If they don't take you, let's go try another university. And then I went to TUT. They said no. And then from there, it was the thing of saying, okay, you rather upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah, then I registered my physics only once because it was too low. My maths and English were okay. Then I registered my physics and then I moved again and went to Valley University. When I got there, they were like, no, you don't qualify. We can't take you. And the other guy was like, no, go and try IT. At Val. And I went to the IT, they were like, no, you do qualify, we can take you, go and register. On that day, I was on the queue to go to register. When I was about to register, in my heart, I remembered when I was in standard 5, in standard 1, that I wanted to do mechanic.
Wow.
I can't do IT. Immediately, I left the university. Instead of registering, I left and came to my brother and be like, no, I can't do IT. I want mechanical. Yeah, but then he was like, but you don't qualify and here they're taking you. Rather for you sitting at home, just try this. I was like, no. And then I was young and I didn't know why was I denying that. But it just happened that I said, I can't. And then I went to UJ again to apply for mechanical. They said, hey man, you came here, we rejected you, you coming again, it's still the same. There's nothing that we can do with the thing. Then I decided, no, let me just push my upgrading thing. Then I've upgraded for 3 months. And then on the 3rd month, then I wrote the exam. Instead of upgrading, I went down.
You downgraded?
Yeah, I downgraded. And it was, my heart was, you know.
Also now it's different as English now.
Yeah, then it was really challenging, and I thought that it means it's the end of my academic life and whatnot, because now I can't do anything. The results are not good. And that I remember that day when I was leaving the college, I took those results, I take them off, that certificate. I was like, I mean, I can't use this because in metric at least is much better. Then on the very same day, I went back again to UK. They denied me again. I was like, you know what, let me wait until maybe May, June. I'm not gonna give up. I want that university and I want this course. Since then, I push. They rejected me. I think I went more than 7 times. And they were rejecting me. I remember what happened the other day. I was with this other guy that was helping me in terms of like when they talk the English, he would then tell me what they are trying to say because I couldn't really understand.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was difficult. And I felt like, no, man, it means I don't have to be here. I might just go back home. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna give up. I will push until I get this done right.
So what did you do? Did you get like a course in English?
No, I didn't do that.
You just relied on your friend.
Yeah, so what happened was that I remember we went to the mechanical engineering department. And then when we got there, the other guy was like, no, this guy, we can just put him in the extended program. Let me sign on his report. And then he signed on this report. And then I went to the extended program to see the HOD. So the HOD there, I got there, was speaking in Afrikaans.
Yeah.
And I was like, Lord, this is the end of my story. I can't really take this thing. And then the lady was like, just put your result under my door. I'll see them on Monday. It was on Friday. Then I went to the flat to see my brother. The following Monday, I came back. And when I got there, I found the lady. And then the lady took the statement because I put it under the door. It's like, no, just wait. Let me go to speak to my secretary. And then was asking the secretary, how many students do I have? It's like, no, only 8 students have registered. It's like, this guy has been bothering us here for many times. At least for this extended, he feed anyway. So you know what, let's just take him because we can't teach 8 students. Let him be the 9th one. Then when the others, they come, they will just add. And mind you, during that time, the class have already started. On the very same day, I had to fill the form for application so that I can get the student number. On the same day, I called my brother. He came and then he helped me. I went and registered. And then I got just one notebook and I ran to the class. And guess what? When I got there in the class, it was a white person. And I was like, Lord,
what am I gonna do?
What am I gonna do now? Because my English is not good. They're like, no, welcome, you can sit down. Then I sat down.
And God said, you belong in these rooms.
Yeah, that's when now I realized, okay, now at least I got the mechanical, although I'm starting with the extended, not the mainstream. I'll just be patient with myself. I'm doing this thing no matter. And I was so excited on that. Yeah, it was so exciting. I'm like, it's mechanical, the university that I wanted. And yeah, since then, I remember when I was in class, they were giving them to do some mind map about their self. Like you just write myself in between and do to say you like this, you don't like. I'm like to them guys, what is a mind map? Because I know map, I know mind. Now these things are compiled. What's happening? And I see the other guy is busy writing there. And ma'am comes to me, it's like, why are you just sitting? Can't you do a little mind map about yourself? I'm like, ma'am, I don't understand what you're talking about. It was really challenging in this class. And after the class, didn't write anything on the board, just say, guys, go and write. I remember it was about yourself, what you know when you are first year, trying to introduce yourself, and go and write about yourself, and you'll submit it tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the class. It just spoke like that. I didn't hear anything. And in the class, the guys, I'm not used to them. So immediately after the class, because I was so happy, I ran to my brother's flat to say, hey, my brother, I'm registered. I've got even the student card. I'm so happy now I'm in the university. It's like, how was the class? I'm like, about the class, don't worry. The fact is that I'm in now. You know? Only to find that they gave them homework. When I got there in class, they're busy standing up with papers submitting. I'm like, guys, what's happening? They're like, no, she gave us a homework yesterday. Didn't you hear? I'm like, no, I didn't hear anything. And ma'am came to me, was like, and then where's your work? I'm like, no, ma'am, I didn't do it. She's like, but you were here yesterday. I'm like, ma'am, to be honest, I didn't hear anything. So what is it that you want us to do? Then she explained to me that immediately.
She had grace.
Yeah, so then I wrote and then submitted.
No, man, I like that. You know, I don't like laughing like this. Shame, man. But I'm glad that she had grace for you. Where was the friend?
Yeah.
The friend, your interpreter, another guy.
No, remember the guy was a student. Had to go and attend
their own things.
Yeah, so it was such a thing, and that was the beginning of my journey. So while I was still studying, I got a job in Pretoria, and then I've learned a lot of things. And with all the information that I got in that company, I was able to get my practical one and also got my practical two. Wow. Then I graduated for my national diploma.
Wow.
And then from there, the company appointed me to then keep on working with them. And yeah, that it took me, I think, 3 years working with that company, but it was a part-time thing. It wasn't like a permanent, it was a contract. So yeah, going further with that, I was happy though with the work. I was enjoying it because it's something that, you know, I've learned from the school, because I was dealing with the quality, checking the products if they are of the quality standard and all that.
Wow.
Yes. So since then,
that was the beginning of your working career.
Yeah, that was my first work employment after I've completed my degree. And before that, there was an interview that I've attended, and the company, I wanted it so much, and they called me, look, you didn't get this job. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Let me take the other company. And then they called me again, the same company, to say, come back to the interview again. I went to the interview. When I got there, they just did a presentation. Then I left. I'm like, I don't want to come back here because I got another company. And then they called me, no, your interview was successful. This is how we'll pay you. Come and work with us. And I was like, and on the other company, they haven't yet told me how much am I gonna get paid. I'm like, no, this one is big. They will give me something that is quite very good. when they gave me the contract, I look at the contract and I remembered what the other guys they said. On the other company, it was times 10 of what I was getting in there. So, and by then I already gave them the call to say, no, that one I don't want it. Then I took this one. And on the same day, I called them back to say, guys, I'm sorry, I apologize. So they're like, no, man, there's nothing
like
we can do.
Yeah.
We have already took someone because you denied the offer. My heart
right now.
I couldn't sleep. You know. But I didn't give up. I was like, no, it's fine. Then
but it's a good thing. Imagine you start that high. Your even your pride, like you're just gonna, I don't know. I think it's always good to start low. It
humbles you, ne?
Yeah.
But studying high.
But I suppose starting high then also gives you a standard.
Yes, you can achieve a lot of things.
You negotiate from there.
Yeah. So. It was really
I'm sorry.
And at that
Next time, your discernment must work.
Yeah, you know. And that time, because the money was not good, when I was going to work, I was traveling with the train. And it wasn't nice. I don't want that. And my heart, sometimes I would sit down and be like, and I denied the good offer, and now I'm struggling.
It looked nice.
Yeah, but that was okay. And then as the company was about to give me the permanent job, I remember it was early in the morning. They called me in the office to say, no, just leave what you're doing, come to the office. We have a permanent offer for you. They put it on the table, the money was good, and I look at it. And in my heart, I'm like, no, Lord, this is not the way you want me to do.
You always have that no.
Yeah, this is my first, it's gonna be my first permanent. And I like this company, but I know. And you know what I did? Immediately, I resigned with immediate effect on the same day.
Without a plan?
The plan was that, you know what, I'm going back to school. I can't be permanent here. I know the job is good, the money is good, but no, I'm leaving. I remember some other time I was going to attend class around 6 in the evening. As I was walking towards the station, I'm like, why am I suffering like this? Why did I leave the job? I remembered when I left the company, when I was in the HR office, I told them, look guys, I'm living here. We're gonna meet at the parliament. I didn't know what was I saying when I was saying that. And I was like, the time you'll meet me, I'll be a doctor.
Sure.
And I'm going to school. I'm not gonna leave the school until I get my doctorate. I came to UG, I did my BTech, and by then, to be honest, I didn't really understand fully what is mechanical engineering, because
you are so far into it.
I was doing it, but I wasn't really fully understanding what is it. I did my BTech. During my BTech time, there was a time on a Sunday, I went to church, then I came straight to school to do the study, because the following week I was writing some. And I went there, it was on a Sunday, it was around May in 2015. I remember it was the 2014, it was on the 14th of May. I went to school, I studied, I stayed there the whole day, got some food, and then remember I was already the treasurer at church. I had the money from the church. I was like, no, I'll deposit it in the bank the following day. And I started, I didn't finish. I'm like, no, I'm not going home. Let me push. I push. When I check the time, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I keep on pushing 3 o'clock. I keep on pushing 4 o'clock. Now it's Monday at 4 in the morning. And at 8 o'clock, I have a class. I'm like, no, I can't. Let me leave. I was staying out of the campus. Let me go to my place and get some shower, relax. Then I'll come back for a class. When I left the campus, that's where I got hijacked. They marked me 5 times in my body.
They stabbed you.
Yeah, they stabbed me 5 times in my body. Apparently, when the doctors were checking, they said no, they were stabbing me with a scoop drive because I had internal bleeding. The blood was not going out. I had internal bleeding. That day, I used to like wearing just white clothes. So that day I had a white shirt and a white
Because you're from church, it's such a holy
such things. And I was like, no, I look like an angel now. So the whole jacket and everything was blood all over. And I fell down in the middle of the road. I couldn't walk. I couldn't feel myself. The last time I saw myself, I had a security guy talking to say, no, guys, let's call the ambulance so that they can come. That's when I had, and immediately, I don't know what happened. They just told me the ambulance came. They took me to Johannesburg hospital. When I got in there, they checked my body. They asked me to write, and I remembered my dad's number. I wrote them down. They called him. And I got in the hospital at around 6:30 in the morning. I couldn't see myself the whole day until at 7 at night. That's when I got awake. And when I got awake, my family was around the bed. My brothers and my sisters were there around the bed. I was like, where am I here? They're like, man, they marked you. And I had a tube that was from my body with a 5-liter bottle trying to drain the blood. So I stood there. The following day, the whole class, the guys that I was starting with, they came to the hospital to come and see me. And the following day, then my whole family, my dad, my mom, Borahadi, and others from Limpopo, they came to see me. It was a very sad moment.
And you are their pride,
Yeah, it was really sad. And going forward, after 5 days, then I was released. My brother and his wife, they took me to their place, and then they make sure that they get, because I had operations, a lot of operations trying to drain the blood. And during that time, it was during the exam time. And my BTEC didn't have exam, but we were writing major tests. And we're also doing what we call this thing, a project. So there were projects that were due, and there were major tests that we needed to write at that time. And I was in pain. So the university was like, no, go and recover, you'll come back again. Right. My family was like, you are going home, you'll recover, you'll come back again. I'm like, no. I'm like, no, I can't, guys. I need to finish this degree thing. I've got time. I don't have time. I want to finish. You're in pain. They are like, no, but you're in pain. Can you? I'm like, no, I can't. So my brother had to drive me to the school. I was in pain. I got in there in the exam room and I couldn't even walk straight. Yeah, I was walking like this because I couldn't walk straight because of the pains that I had in the body. And I wrote the entire exam and I killed it. I passed. Then I graduated. I got my my BTech. And after getting my BTech, I got another job in one of the companies in Kempton Park. Just a very small company. Yeah, I was highly qualified in the company more than everyone, but I was getting paid less more than everyone at the same time. So
when it comes to corporate, I
yeah,
have a bone to pick with corporate. So
yeah, so yeah, it was not that easy, and I've always been someone that telling myself, the Bible says that whatever you find your hand to do it with all your might. If I do something, I make sure that I'm doing my best, such that even the guy that was owning the company recognized me, called me in the office to say, I see your work, man. And I was like, but said, do something about the salaries, like, no, not now. So I was like, it means this thing of engineering is not working for me. Let me try teaching.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I've applied for PGCE.
Yeah.
I got accepted. I even got the bursary. And I went to the guy to say, look, I want to do this course. Can you give me only one day in a week so that I can have? No. Don't have time to that. Then I deregistered. I canceled the bursary. Cancel everything so that I can focus on the job. And it was painful for me, but I was like, no, that's fine. And as I was approaching the gate, I saw a newspaper, the big one. I'm like, hey, I don't like reading newspapers, but this one I'm taking it. When I got in the flat, I said, just going through, I see this other job, government from a big one of the entities for government. I'm like, let me try it. And they called me for an interview. And I got that job. And it was a very good job. I cried that day. When I got the email, I was in Kempton Park with my two younger sisters. I cried. When I got in the company, they welcomed me with a very big lunch, celebrating that I'm part of them. Yeah, so that's when now I got be trained as an engineer. That's when now I got to understand what is mechanical engineering. Wow. Life was good. I got my first car. And at the same time, when I was applying for the car, I applied for the house. I got both of them. Yeah, things were going so well, and I was so excited, and I saw the hand of God. But it was also temporary.
Sure. You have the house.
Yes.
You have the car.
Yes.
Where's the wife? I'm joking.
I wasn't married. I met my wife at the all-night prayer, but then it was just meeting any other sister in the church. I saw her and I was like, hey, it's a woman and a woman. Yeah, then Muruti in the following day posted it on Facebook, the all-night prayer. Then I saw her comment. I liked it. I'm like, oh, is that lady? Then I invited her on Facebook. I remember I saw her posting Mashonja on Facebook to say, my lunch today is Mashonja. Then I just commented with that thing of saying, can you send some lunch for me? I'm here in Vredendal. I'm starving. I like Mashonja.
It's a Christian game. As I run the game, I
was like, you know what? Can we meet on Saturday? I went. As I was parking outside of the gate, I saw her coming. My heart. Jesus. I got off the car. I had 4 muffins with different colors and the chocolate. And
At least you came prepared.
Yeah, trying to be,
Yeah.
I tell her, look, let's go to Glenmarie. Like, where is Glenmarie? We went there. It's a very nice suburb at Kempton Park. And then before we went there, because I only had muffin and chocolate, she's like, I'm hungry. We went to Spa to get some food and whatnot. And when we drive then to the park, I parked the car at the parking inside the park under the tree. And as we were busy eating, we were just talking general stuff. My aim was that to just know her. But then something just kicked in me, and I was like, look, I know you don't know me, and I also don't know you, but this is how I feel. I think we met in May, right? In May, it was on the 12th of May in 2017. And then in September.
May is a very significant month for you, ne?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then in September, we went, I sent my family to her house.
You were ready.
And then in December, the same year, we got married.
I didn't waste time.
Yeah, and I was the first boyfriend to her, and she was the first girlfriend to me.
Really?
First of everything.
So like you were really grown.
Yeah, so but it was because it was this thing of saying, no, I want.
Yeah, I get you.
I want to date when I, knowing that I'm ready, because I don't.
Also, now you also know the Lord. It's just better.
Yes, it was. Then I got married, and then when I got married to her, remember I was done with my BTech.
And they always say that when, like, how there is this favor.
Yes.
That just booms when you get
I was done with my BTech. I was working at that company. So now what happened was that when I was getting married to her that January, I registered my master's. And I told her that, look, I'm an academic person. Though I'm working in industry, I'm a part-time, I'm not full, like I'm on a contract. So just know that my job might end at any time.
Imagine you're telling her after getting married.
No, I told her before we even got married. She was like to me, look, I love your heart. Other than whatever that you have. I just love your heart. So we'll stick together. We'll work things as the time goes. And down the line in 2021 was in January. Then I got registered as a professional. I got recognized. I was happy. And I called my company. It was during the COVID time. They were like, no, it means now that you are registered, we can't keep you in the graduate program. You have to go. We don't have a position for you. And the company had to retrench me with no job. And then she was working. I'm like, man, we have a house, we have a car. What are we going to do? Because now I lost my job. She's like, no, the Lord will provide. And then it was around October. And then October, then November, then December. In January, I called the lady that she's an admin that the HOD went to back then in 2008. The lady was still, and then even situation, I don't have a job. But as you know, I used to tutor at school. Can you try to get something? It's like, no, call the senior coordinator for the drawing subject. And then he gave me the email. I sent the email to him. The man was like, send me your CV. I sent the CV. Then that January, he called me to come to his office, only to find that he has a contract for me without interview anything. And then I signed the contract. It was a 12-month contract. I'm like, at least I'll push, right?
Because now you have a wife.
Yes, now I have a family. You get what I'm saying?
Get you.
Yeah, then I completed my master's because I took 18 months to do my master's.
Please impart that brain.
Don't worry, I'll lay hands on you before I leave to impart the grace. Yes, and then completed my master's, still working there as a part-time. Then I'm like, no man, let me just register my PhD since I'm still, Then I register my PhD. While I was doing the lecturing, there is a department for process and engineering and environmental technologies. They are doing designs and other things. The other guy, I met him on LinkedIn. He worked in that department. And then when we met live, he's like, man, go to that department and look for this person and ask for a job. And I went to the department. I was so scared. And the person was like to me, send me your CV. And then I sent my CV. Within a week, I got a call to say, no, we'll interview you. We are happy with your CV. Can you write a design for 1, 2, 3? I did design, then I submitted. And the reviewee, they were happy, but they didn't call me for the job. Then I waited. While I was busy lecturing, I saw the call. I'm like, this is the university call. Let me answer it. When I answered, they're like, look, we have a job for 1, 2, 3. There's this project. Someone is missing and we need someone urgently. Can you come and work with us? Then I went to work with them. And as I was working, I was also doing part-time lecturing. Then I've applied the other one at TUT. And I got that part-time also at TUT. So I was doing the TUT part-time, UJ part-time, and also I was a designer part-time. So then doing that job all together. At the same time, I'm a PhD student. And also when I got the professional registration, immediately the council called me to say, we want you to help with accrediting universities, interviewing people that want to be professional. Then I was doing that job as well. So this is where I was sitting, and all of them were part-time, and I pushed so hard while I was doing my PhD and taking care of my family. And
didn't it eat up a lot of your time? In terms of, now you have a wife. It's different when you have a wife and still early in your marriage. You kind of have to be.
I think it was the grace of God. Because, like what I said before, that whatever you find your hands to do, do it with all your might. I've made sure that I give the best of my time to my family. And I made sure that for each and every work that I do, I give my best, such that when I shift, you don't feel like I'm not there. You get what I'm saying?
You've left a mark.
Yeah.
They must miss you.
Yeah. Even with my PhD, I was giving my best to balance. I'm someone that I'm very good with time management.
You know what else I think? Yeah. You have a very good attitude in life.
Yes.
You have a good attitude in things, like getting things together. You have a good attitude, and attitude will take you far.
Yes.
So I think that's another thing that works for you when you have and also it sounds like you have a good support system.
Yes.
Because that's everything. Great support system will take you further.
Yes, that's really true. That's really true. And I kept on pushing with my PhD, with my work, and my supervisor was very happy with my publications, because then I remember I had about I think it was about 18 or 19 publications, journals, conference papers, and if you go on Google Scholar, you'll see all my papers. I've got more than 100 citations.
You are listening. We are in a room, and now we are all in the room. with a PhD. You did what? You said you were doing publications and what? Well, you just mentioned it now.
Okay, the publication is journals, conference proceedings, book chapters, and yeah.
Sure.
Those are the things
That is too much power.
that I've actually done, and my supervisor was impressed. Then he organized for me a trip to go to Australia for a week.
Wow.
They paid everything, and I went to the conference, and it was so amazing. I was there alone. And I enjoyed the trip in Australia, get to learn those opera houses that we see on. I was there live, physical, those towers, those bridges and whatnot. Yeah, it was very interesting. And I didn't relax, though I kept on pushing. And my wife was supporting me left and right. You know how my supervisor will request something, my wife will sit with me on the same chair. I'll sit like this, she will sit here waiting for me at night for me to finish the work. You know,
she's
the
your
way,
best friend, yes?
Yeah, she's very supportive.
Yeah.
Me and her, we are like this. We are buddy. Like we are the best friends ever. We do things together.
Yeah, partners.
Yeah. When we got married, I was like to her, look, you can't stay next to me and not go to school. What do you wanna start? She went and looked around and said, she was like, no, I have this course that I wanted to do. Then I was like, go and register. She's like, but babe, we don't have money. I'm like, who said school is money? Because if you want to go to school, forget about money. Go to school. The money will just come. And she registered. The money came and then she paid. And she even graduated. She even got the better job with that qualification. New as it was.
She should have just been here. Happy you both have testimonies.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. So now she's doing her master's at Columbia South University in USA.
Wow.
She's completing now in June her master's. She wants to then enroll for PhD. And yeah, she wanna be a doctor as well. So
can you hear that? I can see it.
Yeah, so that's yeah. So that's where we are sitting at the moment, you know. And while I was in Australia, the position of the senior guy that I call, the senior man that I called to give me the part-time lecturing, the man was promoted into another position. The HOD was like, you know what, we're not gonna advertise. You are here and you are very good. Can we give you this position? Then I went there. While they were busy preparing for the contract, I applied then for a permanent lecturer. And I got an interview. So as I was busy preparing for my trip to Australia, I remember I was at Eastgate Mall buying some clothes and other things. I got an email that the interview for the permanent role was successful. My first permanent job ever.
Wow.
Last year, which was in 2023? Yes, because now we are here in 2023 in May. That's when I got the email, and the other job also as well for this one, for the senior coordinator. And I was like, you know what, let me not sign things now. I'll think about it while I'm in the hotel in Australia. And well, when I was there, then I weighed the thing. I'm like, no, this one for senior coordinator, it's a bigger role, but the way things are, no, I'm fine. Then I called the HOD via the email to say, no, I'm good. I've got another role for permanent as a lecturer, and this is my first permanent job, and I'm taking it. And that's the job that I'm currently doing. I'm a lecturer, and while I was lecturer this year in the first week of March, that's when I got an acceptance letter that I've been awarded the PhD in mechanical engineering. So that's my journey, and we have seen the hand of the Lord. We have seen the grace of God to say that regardless of you have grown in rural areas, struggling with English or whatsoever, but if you wanna see the greater height, it's possible through the grace. Because I believe in this journey, what carried me through, it was just the grace of God. It was just the hand of God and the support from my family at home, my brothers, my sisters, my parents, even from my wife's side, they are very supportive. Her mother, her father, our aunt and the granny, they are very supportive, and I'm in a space whereby I've got all the support from all the sides, and I'm so grateful, and I'm happy.
You are happy. You look it, you sound it, we feel it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. We are proud of you, even as the body of Christ.
Yes.
For excellence, for representation in those rooms, congratulations.
I really appreciate. And furthermore, also as well, I got funding to do further some work towards the professorship, and which I got an official letter about it recently. And it's quite exciting news, and I'm working in that at the moment. So I wanna become a professor in the near future.
Doctor.
So that's my journey, and I truly bless the Lord for what He did and the grace that He really gave me to be where I am, and also my spiritual home as well, where I fellowship. The pastor there and the congregation as well, they have a full support. There were a lot of things that they seems not to be possible. And I went in front of the church, please pray for me for 1, 2, 3. And they prayed for me, and things they happened. And my supervisors and my mentors, they really played a huge role in me being here. I'm a product of many.
What's the name of your church?
It's Paraclete Life City Church.
Where is it?
Is in Pretoria Central at Branson. What's the street?
Pretoria.
It used to be a Skoman Street.
Oh, okay.
Next to Chicken Licken, the front opposite to Chicken Licken. Okay. So that's where we are based. And one of the things that I can say is that there's one man who told me something when I was growing up. I think I was in grade 12. He said, love God and go to school. You'll see what will happen in your life. And that's what I did. That's what I did.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We appreciate your contribution. We appreciate this testimony particularly. It's such a real and a very rich testimony, considering the English. Imagine you don't know how to speak English. You're learning it and properly learning it when you are now an adult. You have interviews to do. You have, so many things that need English, So for you to just rise against being stabbed, doing well right after that, having repeated so many times, like all these things. And then, but what stands out also for me is how you say that earlier on, the life has spoken to you. You were called a principal very early in your life.
Yes.
Life has always been spoken to you, So I love that there's always been a declaration and a proclamation of who you are. And identity was already embedded in you. This is who you are. So that life that propelled you to keep moving, that's what I just, I love that, because oftentimes we may take it very lightly how we speak to our kids or our nieces and our nephews, and not take it so seriously. And these are things that this is the identity that they become. Look, now we are sitting with doctors, huh? But yeah, no, we totally bless the Lord. I am grateful. Thank you so much for coming on to Sweet Ears. This has been very sweet to our ears, Thank you so much. Very inspiring, inspirational. I'm believing that someone out there is going to just really take their academic lives very seriously and just expand the kingdom. The Bible says, occupy until I come. So we are here to occupy. We are here to occupy spaces. We are here to just, do it excellently. The scripture that I wanted to say earlier was on ignorance, basically just to say, if there's something you don't know, we are going to be accountable for information we are not looking out for. We are going to be accountable for not seeking out information. So maybe be a people that are not ignorant in our generation. Maybe be a people that search it out, But yeah, thank you for that. And you heard his church, guys. Please go visit it. It's amazing. Thank you so much for that. And we have an announcement. Are you a business owner? Well, Sweet Ears has a new feature where you can sponsor an episode and you will get to have access to our viewers. We are trying to broaden people's businesses. We believe in believers having funds. We believe in community. We believe in expansion. We believe in growth. We believe in excellence.